መቀሌ አይደር ሆስፒታል ውስጥ ሰራ ነበር። 1 አመት ሰርቻለሁ። I did my internship there. And my internship ደግሞ happen ያደረገው was during the like complete ውስጥና ጦርነት ውስጥ በነበርንበት ሰዓት ነበረ ሰራ ነበር። So yeah, it was a very crowded emergency room. There's a lot of patients who are just screaming out in pain. In psychiatry 2 ሳምንት አታች አድርጌ ሰርቻለሁ። I hated it better. Most of them are women and kids who are suffering from PTSD. So sterilize ለማድረግ you need መብራት ኤሌክትሪሲቲ ያስፈልግሻል። መብራት ሲጠፋ ስላችሁ ደግሞ 3 ወር ምናምን ነገር ነው የሚጠፋው ማለት ነው። like it's like that.
How do you function ከዛ በኋላ?
I think you just run away from your emotions ምናምን ነገር.
Welcome to another installment of the Netsanet Podcast
with Zion. Today for our indelible segment we're going to talk about safety in concerts. And today with us, I will let her introduce herself. She's a doctor.
I guess that's about it.
After the concert we're going to discuss women and war. Yes, and especially like professional women.
Yeah. Anyway, how was the concert for you?
መጀመሪያ like remember የኢቭ ኤፒሶዳችን ላይ I was telling you ይሄንን ኮንሰርት መግባት ፈልጋለሁ። Of course the lineup changed እዚህ ጋር ስንደርስ but I was so excited ምክንያቱም most of the artists already የምሰማቸውና ደስ የሚሉኝ ሰዎች ናቸው የነበሩት and ያበድኩ ነበር ወደፊት ወደ ኋላ የለም እያበድኩ ነበር ደግሞ like here's the sad bit everybody abandoned me አብረን እንሂድ ያልኳቸው ሰዎች በሙሉ የሆነ ፓርት ላይ የሉም and then I found other people
that she knows
that I know እዛው ቀረው
the extrovert that she is she always does
yeah but still like
thank you
shitty.
Somebody on my side.
In my defense I did give a clear warning.
I ደግሞ በዚህ ላይ I don't think it's her type of music እውነቱን ለመናገር I was the only enthusiastic person like በሐሙስ ቀን ኮንሰርት እንሂድ ሲባል I'm like yes
then elemental support ነበር የሄድኩት and then I found out some alcohols are not for the week so I decided I have to go home because I'm no longer safe in the state of mind
yes.
I was
yes
so I called her and let her know ልሄድ ነው ወደ ቤት because I'm slightly too tipsy and concert and I don't feel safe so one of our friends actually made sure I got home safe.
Oh that's nice.
Yeah so yes that's ano I didn't mean to abandon you it's a matter of safety
ማህበረሰብ ነው ማቀበልሽ የቲ ማህበረሰብ ይጃኝ
ምን እንደሆነ ታውቂያለሽ the thing is even if I chose to stay in that mindset only thing I'll be is a burden በዛ ሰዓት ገብቶሻል I would actually need you to be next to me and make sure I'm safe and nobody's trying to have any type of conversations so does he instead of actually insisting upon you babysitting me I thought it was just mature
እውነቱን ለመናገር እኔ በዛ ሰዓት
told her that you left and
she did
actually it's fine
but
like there are
I
people who just leave
I know good like clarify arga
people sometimes just leave their friends without telling them
especially like when you have like boy crazy friends just like a man appears and then a friend disappears the fun bit about this concert was ወግዳይት ከ5 ወር በፊት ነው አልበሙን ያወጣው and not a lot of people knew what he was saying ግን like he like ብዙ ሰው አልሰማውም ኮንሰርት ውስጥ ከገባው ማህበረሰብ ብዙ ሰው አልሰማውም it was new I think so
okay and like a lot of people don't know about his album
የገቡት ሰዎች like they weren't I was singing እና አካባቢ a certain circumference of people quietly ያዩኝ ነበር እና like እኔ ቃል በቃል ያልኩኝ እዛጋ like okay this guy is cool አይነት ነገር ነው እንጂ like ብዙም engaged ያን ያህል ማለት considering how good his album was እኔ የተመኘሁትን ያህል engage አልተደረገም።
Do you think like የካስማሳ like የመጀመሪያው album was more famous than this one like ባለው amount of time በወጣበት እንትን ማለት ነው?
I do.
የሱ album more famous ነበር?
ግን if I was this is more to my pace I guess because so a lot of the words make sense to me እኔም ከዚህ በፊትም ብዬሻለሁ like ከካስማሳ የበለጠ ይሄኛው it's more relatable as music to me. So when he came out and the choice of songs some of the lyrics it works for me much better. እና ብዬ ነው ብቻዬን የተንጫጫው አጠገብ ያለችውን ልጅ እያዘፈንኳት በቃ like ሌሎች ሰዎች ለምን አደንሱም እላለሁ ዞሬ ማን እንደነበር ኩራሴን አላውቅም. By the time Yohana was on stage I was done ምክንያቱም like I came to I love Yohana you know. እና something I need to point out Jambar was always amazing on stage. በዚህ ሁኔታ ቀጠለ it's very unlikely that other people are going to top his performance style. Like he always has dancers, he's well practiced, everything he says ይሰማሻል even if it's a concert. like enunciate በደንብ ያደርጋል እና performance wise I haven't seen any like male performer that is as good as ጀንበሩ በምንም genre ማለት ነው. so በዚህ ከቀጠለ it's going to be tough for anybody else to compete. እና imagine this is like his second or like at best third እንትን ነው concert ነው. he was an opener አንዴ አሁን mid ላይ ነው መሃል ላይ ነው play ያደረገው ስለዚህ by the time he headlines he's going to be a thing. ይኸውልሽ የጀንበሩ strength ምን እንደሆነ እሱ he has had I think a year and a half with his album being out considering it's hip hop ይሄን ያህል mainstream አይሆንም ደግሞ የሱ ስታይል hip hop ነው it's not ይሄ hip hop አገረኛ vibe አይደለም እንትና ወግዳይት አዲስ አርቲስት ነው and then there was this female artist ስሟን በደንብ አላስታውሰውም someone perform አደራረገው አሪፍ ነበር ግን I wish he had like an ensemble abroad እና like ዘፈኖቿም ቆንጆ ነበሩ engage እንድናረጋቸው ግን እድሉን አላገኘንም በደንብ so ሶስቱ ሰዎች ማለት ነው በሰዎቹ ላይ ጀንበሩ of course he's a senior ለሁለቱም ግን የማያውቁትን ዘፈን engage እንዲያደርጉ ይችልበታል. I don't know how he does it. ማንም ሰው ማያውቀውን ዘፈን ዘፍኖልሽ you're engaged. I don't know how he's doing it. እና like ሌሎችን ሰዎች ያለው
because you said he's a good performer and probably that's why.
እና በጣም clear ነው የሚልሽ ነገር ይሰማሻል. እና I think በጣም strong የሆነ suit ነው. Something I've also በዚህ ኮንሰርት ዩኒክ የነበረው ነገር የሽንት ቤት ሰልፍ አልነበረም.
What?
Every time I've gone to the ladies room
empty?
No self.
Were there no ladies?
No, ሁለት ሴቶች ሁለት ሴት ነበር ባሁኑ በፊት አንድ ሳይድ ወንድ ነበር የሚደረገው ባሁኑ I think 2 sets of bathrooms ነበሩ እና አንዴም ሰልፍ ሳላይ ነው ያለቀው I went about 3 or 4 times እዛ በነበረኝ ሰዓት no self. ኮንሰርቱ ላይ ደስ ያለኝ ፓርት አርቲስትሽ አያመልጥሽም because በመሃል ዲጄ አለ these were my favorite things.
ስቴጁም ሁለት ነበር actually ስክሪንም አድርገውበት ነበር for anybody who wants to sit down and watch.
አንደኛው ሳይድ ብቻ ነበር የሚሰራው ስክሪኑ ግን VIP በጣም ሩቅ ነበረ ከንትኑ ከስቴጁ በፊት የነበረው ላይ ቪአይፒው ቅርብ ነበር በዛኛው ሳይድ ስለሆነ I think they've done this setting ከዚህም በፊት ለሌላ ሰው ኮንሰርት I think እና ቪአይፒ ቲኬት ኖሮን አልሄድንም ቪአይፒ ውስጥ
አዎ ጭራሽ ትዝም አላለኝም
ሶጣ ነው ይሄ ከለር ምንድን ነበር ስላቸው ቪአይፒ ነበር አለ
What is the difference though like VIP ጋር ብትሄዱ ኖሮ what would be like different about
there are chairs አንደኛ good chairs you could sit on
ኮክቴል ስለብቻ የተለየ ነው እዛ ያለው አትሰረቂ
መጋፋት
ስቴጁ ደግሞ like clear view ነው የሚኖርሽ ስቴጁ ይሄ ሰው ላይ የተንጠላጠልሽ የተጋፋሽ ምናምን አይደለም just like have the stage እዛው ጋር it's just less የሆነ ምንድነው less crowded in a sense በድምጽም በእንትንም በግፍ physically እና እውነታቸውን ነው የሚያስከፍሉት ብያለሁ last time እረፍት ኮንሰርት እንደዛ ስለነበረ
how much is the difference by the way like regular tickets and VIP
I don't know
do not know
we were invited through a friend ከዛ በኋላ ደግሞ በስራ የመጡ ትኬቶች ነበሩና በዛ የተነሳ ነው የገባነው of course ግን like if I hadn't known ደግሞ በዚህ ላይ the thing ያጨማለቀኝ ነገር ዋጋውንም እንዳላቅ ከዛ በፊት ነው የነገሩኝ ኮንሰርቱ ቅዳሜ ያለፈው ሳምንት ነው ትኬት አለ ትሄጃለሽ ወይ ተባልኩት አዎ ብዬ ኮሚት ያደረኩት ያኔ ነው ከዛ they moved the day በዚህ ላይ it's unusual የሐሙስ ኮንሰርት የስራ ቀን ኮንሰርት ተዛብቻለሁ absolutely was it worth it absolutely
the next morning I genuinely felt like that was Saturday ያለፍነው ቅዳሜ ነው ዛሬ እሁድ ነው ያለሽ ቫይብ አለ አይደለ በጣም ገራሚ ዌክ አፕ ነበር ፍራይዴ ማለት ነው
ብዙ ሰው አላየውኝም ይሄኛው የነሱ ካታጎሪ አይደለም መሰለኝ
would you like recognize your students if you saw them
yes she has a few times
I have a good relationship with them ሰላም እንባባላለን
also you consider them people
and of course one of the reasons I don't mind teaching I think is
but she's a medicine intern የሷ አስተማሪዎች እንደዛ አይደሉ
the reason I enjoy teaching is like I don't have any issues with students so far
I mean as it should be it's just that's not the kind of relationship most people have with their teachers especially
actually they've tried a few of them hire ያደርጉሻል consult ያደርጉሻል
she's right by the way
they already have jobs that are better than mine ቤተሰቦቻቸው እየላኳቸው ነው የሚመጡት this one time በየሆነ መሃል ላይ ምናወራበት ጊዜ ተፈጠረና like assignment class ጨርሰው ሌላው ሰው እስኪጨርስ እየጠበቅን ማለት ነው so እንትናሉ they told me what they did import export shein like አምጥቶ መሸጥ or like everything is just a better option than my job
and then I wonder if they knew when they told you that
they know like everybody knows that teachers are not that much valued ስለዚህ ይገርማቸዋል why are you here ብለው ብዙ ሰዎች ይጠይቁኛል ብዙ ተማሪ ይጠይቅሻል like why are you here እኔ unfortunately like there was a time where it was more relevant for me ስራ ማግኘት በፍጥነት as opposed to like ስራ ማማረጥ እና ያን ሰዓት ነው በዚህ ላይ when እንትን ስታስተምሪ የማስተርስ ኦፖርቹኒቲ ይሰጥሻል በትምህርት ቤቱ ማለት ነው ብር እንዴት ነው በስቱደንት ሎን ነገር እና ያኔው ነው ካልተማርኩ I could tell ወደፊት አልመለስበትም so ይሄንን opportunity በመያዝ like while I'm still young while I'm still interested like ስፔኮቼ ከፍ እንዲሉ ፈልጌ ነው ትምህርቱን የጀመርኩት በዚህ ላይ ስታስተምሪ there is like a time freedom that other jobs don't give you በሳምንት 15 ሰዓት ቢበዛ 27 ሰዓት ምናምን ነበር ያኔ ብዙ ሰው ሲያስተምር ሳይ ማለት ነው so which means you have a lot of time to do other things as well so at that time I thought this is a good choice let's do it and then the podcast came and then this year the comedy came the opportunity simata like I can seize opportunities that also call to me while still holding down a job
I don't know another topic and that appeared in እናወራለን የተባለው was safety at events for women so እስኪ ከጌስታችን እንጀምር have you been to any events
I think I've only been like to one event at Addis Ababa it was this jazz thing it was a while ago
atmosphere jazz night
አይደለም የት ነበር I forgot like I think Mexico አካባቢ ነው ለጋራ አካባቢ something I didn't stay like I think it was like an afternoon thing and I went like እስኪመሽ ድረስ ምናምን ነገር kind of left like 12 ሰዓት ላይ ምናምን ነገር
ፖስታ ቤት ነበር ይሄ ነገር
ምንድነው ሰፈሩ ስሙ ጠፍቶብኝ ነው
ለጋር
ከሜክሲኮ ወደ እዛ ጥቁር አንበሳ አካባቢ
እሺ ለጋር yes ጥቁር ለዛ ነው ፖስታ ቤት ነው ያልኩሽ
እዛ ፖስታ ቤት እዛ ጋር ነው ፖስታ ቤቱ
ለምሳሌ we've been to something the band was so good
they were good
remember okay
I think ሲጥም ነበር ነው
እኛ ሄድ ነው yes ግን most likely if they have a relationship they would repeat it
I think they used to do it like every year ምናምን ነገር I'm not sure ግን like all of them they're like very well known like jazz musicians ምናምን ነገር ማለት ነው ነበር
Do you like jazz? Yes I don't know
people who can't dance
I can't dance you're right about that
we will still fight it ለማንኛውም ማለት ነው
of course I'm quite like I try my best jazz laying ቢሆን እደንሳለሁ
oh yes she performs no actually
I cannot
she dances
resist dancing no it's like it's not about like can or cannot say her like if there is music I will be dancing I don't even think
every time you know what I need you know ቀንሻለሁ መጨፈር ትለይና every time የማገኛት in the middle of a dance floor ነውና we have that
many ወጣት by the way the concert
ምን ነበር ያልሽኝ ስንገባ ኮንሰርት ላይ
ልብስ ቀየርኩ እኮ ጽዬ that was like ይሄ በጣም አጭር ቀሚስ ምናምን አድርጌ ማለት ነው like ከዛ በኋላ ብርድ ትንሽ ነካነካ ማንኛ አልኩኝ ስራ ላይ ቀን የለበስኩት ልብስ ተመልሼ እጄ ሙሉ ቀይሬ like more you know ለኮንሰርት ፊቲንግ ለማድረግ ሞክሬ ግን like የስራ ልብሴን ለብሼ ተመልሼ መጣ ጃኬት በደንብ ደርቤ ከዛ አስማን ያቆመኝ ደግሞ I know most of the songs ስለዚህ like ዘፍኛለሽ ዘያለሽ የሰው አለመደነስ ይገርመኛል like ከፍለሽ መተሽ ማለት ነው ስብርብርም ቢል ዳንስሽ መደነስ አለብሽ why are you there then
my friend used to say እንቅስቃሴዎች ሁሉ ዳንስ ናቸው
she's right and also it helps with for me at least movement helps with depression a lot physical movement
I think you're right about that
how were you able to stay safe with that dress and አሁን ጥያቄ ሆነብኝ
I just told you
ከዛ በፊት ያለው ራሱ በጣም it was considerably short dress እና እንደምታያት ልጅቷ በጣም ቀይናት ቀሚሱ ጥቁር ነው so ስንገባ ራሱ የነበረው ሰልፍ ልገጽልሽ አልችልም like everybody was on everybody and then ከገባን በኋላ ሁለታችን we went on our separate ways I was a little worried with like you were dancing and that dress በጣም ጨንቆኝ ነበር do you have any recommendations
for safety okay ከዚህ በፊት I think we've discussed it ግን when you drink you should always know upper limit ምን እንደሆነ like ከዚህ በኋላ ስካር ነው ወይም ከዚህ በኋላ ቲፕሲነስ ነው የሚባለው መታወቅ አለበት if you do drink if you don't drink እግዚአብሔር ይመስገን ቆንጆ ነገር ነው but if you do drink upper limit መታወቅ አለበት and make sure you always have access to water
yes
ከዛ pee a lot yes pee a lot always have like the body system always have somebody with you like preferably male you know
unfortunately it works
yes
ግን ደግሞ ያው ካልሆነ በደም መደባደብ ምችል ሴት
እኛ ግሩፕ እንደዛ ያለ አይመስለኝም
if not make sure you can run in your shoes like when you wear heels ምናምን realistically plan ማድረግ ይጠይቃል like don't wear things you can't move in like አንድ መደነስ ነው ግን ሁለተኛ ምንድነው እንትን ይሄ you want to escape danger so like make sure you have something on that you can move in that you walk away in run in ምናምን ሌላ ምን አለ ሌላ ያው እሳት ብላችሁ ጩ
ውስጥ ለውስጥ ከሆናችሁ ቤት አካባቢ ነው እሱ recommend people are more likely to come out and ሊያዩሽ ወይም ኢንቨስቲጌት ሊያደርጉ እሳት ከተባለ ሌባ ከተባለ not
nobody is going to care
because እነሱን አፌክት ስለማያደርጋቸው chances are yes I completely agree
እኔ unfortunately ከኬድራማ ነው የተማርኩት ይሄን ነገር
I googled
ኬድራማ በጣም ኢንፎርማቲቭ ነው ባስ እንዴት እንደሚሰራ ያየሁት በካርድ እንዴት እንደሚከፈል ያየሁት በእነሱ ሾው ነው ራውቲንግ ሲስተም እንዴት like ባስ ራውቶች አሉ አይደል ፖስት ያደርጋሉ እነሱ አሁን እንትን ራንደም ቦታ if you go እና ልክ ከትሬን ስቴሽን ስትወጪ ወይም ደግሞ ከስሙን ጥሪ ከባስ ስቴሽን አካባቢ ከኤርፖርት አካባቢ ምናምን ራውቶቹ የከተማው ራውቶች ይገለጹልሻል ምን ባስ ብትጂ የት እንደምትጂ ምናምን ማለት ነውና so like public transport system እንዴት ማሻሻል እንደሚቻል ሃይዌይ እና ኤክስፕሬስዌይ መካከል ያለው ዲፈረንስ የተማርኩት
the difference
so የከተማ ሃይዌይ ከሆነ እንትን ነው የስፒድ ሊሚት ዲፈረንስ አለ and tolling possibly expressway ሲሆን አቋራጭ ነው ያለሽ ነው so it's going to be very fast and very like በሃይዌይ ከምትሄጁ በጣም በሃይ ፍጥነትና በቅርብ እንትን ቶሎ ነው የምትደርሺው ቶል ሊኖረው ይችላል ኤክስፕሬስዌይ ሲሆን so ይከፈልበታል ወዘተረፈ እና ደግሞ እዛ ላይ ከገባሽ most likely አትወጪም ኤክስፕሬስዌይ ከሆንሽ ሃይዌይ ላይ ከሆንሽ ግን መውጫ ብዙ መንገዶች ይኖሩታል ነው እና ከድራማ ነው እሳትን ያስተማረኝ
the funny part what I loved about this concert ምንድነው ታውቂያለሽ አንደኛ amazing food choices ነበሯቸው
food
yes
you ate
I didn't have to. Like
everybody else was eating?
Yes, like ራሴ purposely መሄድ አልነበረብኝ. Everybody ይዞ ሲመጣ oh that's interesting እያልኩኝ ነበር.
What was there?
I think ስጋ all of it የሀበሻ ስጋ ብለሽ የምታስቢው በአጠቃላይ ነበረ። ከዛ በኋላ ተሻግሮ ፒዛ ነበረ። ከዛ በርገርስ ነበሩ የሆነ ሎኬሽን ላይ and እያመጡም የሚያዘብሩት እነዚህ ትናንሽ ሳምቡሳዎች ምናምኖችም ነበሩ. so it was amazing.
ቬንደሮቹ አሪፍ ነበሩ.
Yes.
Okay.
ከዛ ቀጥሎ ደግሞ አልኮሆልም በዛው ልክ different types አሉ. ድሮ ብዙ ጊዜ ማስተውሉ ቢራ ብቻ ነበር and everything else is super expensive ነበር. አሁን ግን if you want strong alcohol affordable alcoholም አለ.
Okay.
እና which was very fun.
What is affordable alcohol? እንደዚህ አይነት ሲናሪዮ ላይ ማለት ነው.
ባለፈው ጠይቀን ደንግጠን የነበረው በአንድ ሾት 500 ብለውን ነበር የሆነ ቦታ ላይ.
Oh no, I don't go out to buy drinks anymore.
No, እኔን ሂድ ብዬሽ አብረን because like the buddy system እየተጠቀመ you remember? Oh, like ለአንድ ቺ እንደምታክል ሾት 500 ብር ብለውን we were like yeah, እግዚአብሔር ይስጥልን ብለን ተመለስ. I don't know.
Once you tell us 500 ብር we're not curious. You're just lying to us because we're drunk አይነት ነገር ነው.
Horse tranquilizer more አለበት for that to be worth it.
Horse tranquilizer is going to be far cheaper. ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ በድንጋይ እንደሚፈነክቱት.
So we're going to talk about the donkey meat incident by the way.
What is that?
You didn't hear? አዲስ አበባ ውስጥ የአህያ ስጋ መሸጥ ተጀምሯል ተብሎ
ስጋ ቤቶች ውስጥ ነው?
አዎ ለሰዎች.
Where?
like
cooked ሆኖ ነው የሚሸጠው?
like
very well cooked.
የጥሬ ስጋ እንትን
the people who ate it ምን እያሉ ነው?
Remember እንትን I'll never forget this. ሸገር ኤፍኤም የመጣ አካባቢ like the first 2 or 3 years ላይ similar incident ነበር። የፈረስ ስጋ ነው ያኔ ደግሞ የተባለው. so እንትን የፈረስ ስጋ በልተው ኢንተርቪው እየተደረጉ ነው የበሉት ሰዎች ማለት ነው. I hope archive ውስጥ ኖሮ like if there's some way to find this. እና አላወቅንም በጣም ጣፍጦን እየተመላለስን እየበላን ነበር ብለን ኢንተርቪው እየሰጡ ነው. There was like የአይጥ ዱለት ኢንሲደንት ነበር around the same time. አሁንም recentlyም ተብሎ ነበር.
ዱለት ከአይጥ ማለት ነው like
ዱለት ደስ የሚልሽ ፓርት ውጪ ከሆነ በጣም cooked ነው. በጣም well cooked ነው.
ደግሞ if you grind it እኮ ያላስታውቅም.
ስጋ
መክተፍ
ታርገሽ
ደንብ ፈጭተሽ በቃ
በዚህ ላይ አይጥ ይፈላል. ማአት ነው የሚወልዱት at a time.
That's the thing. Everybody question እንዳያረገው one of your favorite tiktokers point out አርጓለች. Why donkey? ማለት አያ ድረስ ምን አደረሰ? እዚህ ጋር there are things like በሬ በግ ምን በለው the same reproductive time የሚወስዱ
very expensive.
አያ እኮ አንድ ቢጣፋበት ሰው እንትን አይልም
ማለት አሁን ለምሳሌ to actually grow and breed something we eat እና አያ እኩል effort ነው የሚወስደው. ስለዚህ why would you actually go
you know እንትን በመሃል ሁለት አመት ያደርጉ?
probably because cheaper ስለሆነ አይደለም like ሌላ
እኛ ሀገር ውስጥ
like እሱን meat provide ለሚያደርገው ሰው like it was cheaper to buy like a donkey I guess in this case.
It's like the same amount of effort ነው የሚወስደውና it's just
ኦፕሽኖቹ ግን በዙ ማለት ነው ገባሽ? በሬ በግ አህያ ሲጨመር you know what I mean? ብዙ በዚህ ላይ ደግሞ ሬሲፒዎቹም አዲስ ናቸው.
ኃጢያት ውስጥ ከምትገባ በሚለው ነው መሰለኝ. it was just tough ነው.
አህያ መብላት አይቻልም?
አይፈቀድልንም እስከማውቀው ድረስ ግን like I'm no expert in this.
okay. እግራቸው አይደል የሚታየው?
ሁለት ሁፍ ያላቸው ነው አይደል የሚባለው?
አህያ አንድ ሁፍ ነው ያለው? I think so. No?
I think so.
flat እንደዚህ
we shall google.
የከተማ ሰው ነን ብዙ ስለ እንትን
እነሱስ
ፈረስም አይፈቀድልንም?
ፈረስ definitely አይፈቀድልንም አንድ ነው ሁፉ. እንደውም I'm more curious about camels.
ሁለት ነው
የነሱ ሁለት ነው.
camels ጋር it's very normal.
I know ግን like ሁሌ point of contention አለ within Christianity. የካሜል ሁለት ነው.
ያህያ አንድ ነው.
የሚበላ አይመስለኝም እኮ
እሱ it's because we don't like it ይመስለኛል እንጂ ተከልክለን አይመስለኝም.
okay anyways እንደዚህ I feel like you know ይታይሽ አንድ ላም ኖሮሽ 2 አመት ታረግዛለች በመሃል ግን አየዋል አንድ አመት አካረግልሽ ወዘሎ ልስታይ አያል
no that makes sense I mean I might as well
ለክሲች ደግሞ የኑሮ ውድነቱ እንደዚህ ጣሪያ በነካበት ሁኔታ ማለት ነው ምን አይሸጥም so about safety ይሄን ያህል ነው የምንለው ግን like what scares you about going out what like legitimately
men yeah I mean that's
covered
like
in one word
you're not scared of women
no I'm not
why
because it's not women that are like doing a lot of harm against other women out there it's men physically like actually harm
okay
towards women it's men so yeah
how about you
ጨርሰዋለች
really
በሚገርም ሁኔታ
just men
because like የአንዳንድ ሎኬሽኖች አሁን በተለይ all women events መስራት ጀምረዋል I don't know ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ ይግባ አይግባ ግን a few other US ዱባይ እንደዛ እንዳለ እናውቃለን እዛ ሲቹዌሽን ላይ ብሆን I do not think I will still have the same precautions ገብቶሻል if I knew for a fact ከዛ ወራ ደግሞ የሚወስደኝ right it's a woman and knows my location ብዬ ባስበው it takes an ease ብዬ ነው ማስበው
okay
anxious
humans like
man women
all inclusive name ምክንያቱም I've had the unfortunate opportunity of watching a lot of evil being collaboratively ሲሰራ so it's more
I'm not denying that by the way yes a woman can do harm to you but like
the fact that we have less guards up against them ደግሞ it kind of facilitates a lot of things
imagine ለምሳሌ like is the woman like directly doing the harm ምናምን ነገር ወይስ is she an instrument ምናምን ነገር
is harm only physical in your mind
I mean like that is the one I'm more concerned about ምናምን ነገር especially when going out ስለሱ እያወራን ስለሆነ
okay yeah considering usually አሁን currently ያለኝ fear is leaving a drink unattended and my phone and the drink no the most fear I have ማለት ነው መመታት እንኳን ይዳናል ብዬ አስባለሁ like a lot of things you know what I mean like የሆነ ሰው እርግጥ አድርጎ ቢደበድብሽ ይልሽ ትታከሚያለሽ የሆነ ፓርት ድረስ ትታከሚያለሽ ከዛ like ከዛ በኋላ ራስሽን ጠብቂያለሽ ነው ግን if something else happens where harmful drugs are introduced your phone is stolen and opened
but why are you scared about the drugs though
because following
that's what I mean by physical harm not the beating and I'm saying እሱን ማለት ነው
beating physical harm ነው
yeah ግን like more than that ደግሞ what scares us all ምናምን is the big R word
yes the legal R word that's
the legal R word በዚህ ላይ you would have to prove it በጣም ስራ ይሆንብሻል you know what I mean once that happens የቤት ስራ ነው
it's not just the proving ምናምን ነገር even just surviving that ለራሱ it's going to be hard I'm not gonna lie to you you're probably not gonna tell anybody ከዛ በኋላ ደግሞ most women don't
yeah why do you think that is
because like it's very hard like perceive የምትደረጊበት መንገድ it's not going to be kindness ምናምን ነገር አይደለም የሚጠብቅሽ ስትናገሪ እንደዚህ አይነት ነገር ለሰዎች ማለት ነው
ማን ይጃለሽ ነው የመጀመሪያው ጥያቄ ማን
ይጃለሽ or መስታረጊ ነበር ምን አርገሽ ነው እንደዛ ያረጋው ሚሉ ጥያቄዎች ለራሱ እንደዛ አይነት ነገር ሰርቫይቭ ካረክሽ በኋላ መመለስ ከባድ ነው and you don't want እንደዛ አይነት ጥያቄዎች ምናምን ነገር እንድትይ ማለት ነው so yeah that's why it's just ምን ኖርበት
ሶሳይቲ ነው የሚሆነው
በነካጃችን ስለዚህ አሁን ወደ ነጻነት ሴግመንታችን እንገባለን ማለት ነው
yes
for those of you who are uncomfortable with topics such as SA R-word I suggest this is not your episode continuing on this is going to be
very honest very dark
this is already one of my favorite and like I think that one of the most important conversations I would have on this podcast እስካሁን
next week ማለች
እንቀጥላለና ያኔም ሲመጡ one of the most important ይችላል እኮ
I felt special like for a moment there ግን እሺ
so where do you want to start መጀመሪያ do you want to do an introduction or like should I just ask you introductory questions
okay ወደ ገደለው ንግባና let me just say you know some stuff so people can know why I'm here and what I'm trying to talk about. So እኔ ሐኪም ነኝ. መቀሌ አይደር ሆስፒታል ውስጥ ሰራ ነበር 1 አመት ሰርቻለሁ. I did my internship there. And my internship ደግሞ happen ያረጋው was during the like complete ውስጥ እና ጦርነት ውስጥ በነበርንበት ሰዓት ነበረ ሰራ የነበረው. So that's why I'm here ዛሬ.
Okay. So did you always want to be a doctor? መጀመሪያ ወደዛ ከመሄዳችን በፊት?
No.
How did you end up there ታዲያ?
You know, like most people do, like ቤተሰብሽ ፎርስ ያደረግሽና ትገቢያለሽ. Like if you're somebody like natural science high school የተማርሽ ሰው ከሆንሽ and then you know you're cursed enough to get like good grades የ12ኛ ክፍል እንትን ላይ people push you እዛ ውስጥ እንድትገቢ.
Cursed. እሺ.
Yeah.
It worked on you apparently?
It works on a lot of people, by the way. This is I have a very similar answer with like a lot of people who went to like med school ማለት ነው.
And then I remember some TikToker was talking about if you're going to do health professions, unless you really love it, it's not going to feel like it's worthy.
Yeah.
Like you're going to hate most of it.
He's very right, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. ግን a lot of people ይሄን አስበውበት አይደለም የሚገቡት. Plus ደግሞ when you're like 18, you're just a kid ምናምን ነገር እና like አሁን ለምሳሌ እኔ እየተጠቀሙበት ታክቲክ በዛ ሰዓት was እኔ ኢንጂነሪንግ ገብቼ አርኪቴክቸር ነበር መማር የፈለኩት ከዛ like drawing ምናምን ነገር that was my interest and I also really wanted like አዲስ አበባ እንዲደርሰኝ ማለት ነው. But my dad kept telling me how if I በዛ መንገድ ከሄድኩኝ I would end up being unemployed. And that like this is a choice that I'm making ምናምን ነገር እና he won't be you know supporting me. Yes, stuff like that ማለት ነው. So I was really pushed and I was really scared that I was going to be you know 5 አመት ምናምን ነገር spend አድርጌ ተመሬ I would end up becoming unemployed and doing something else ከተማርኩት ውጪ ማለት ነው. But guess what? That happened to me ማለት ነው. Yes.
መንግስት መመደብ ደግሞ አቁሟል አይደል ከሆነ ጊዜ በኋላ በፊት መመደብ ነበር.
Yeah, it stopped like 4 years ago.
How does ታዲያ አሁን አንድ ዶክተር እንዴት ነው የሚቀጠረው? እንደ ኖርማል ሰው አፕላይ ያደረገ
like ስራ ትፈልጊያለሽ
እንትን የሚባለው ነገር has always made me curious. The freshman disease ይባላል. Where every time you read a symptom ወይም ባየሽ ቁጥር you feel all of the symptoms. Is that true?
It's true.
Really?
Fortunately.
What happens?
You think you might have that disease every time you read about something ምናምን ነገር ከዛ like you just read too much into it ምናምን ነገር ግን it's just something everybody goes through honestly speaking. Some people though like they take it very seriously ምናምን ነገር እና ያላቸውን ትንሽ symptom ምናምን ነገር በጣም አካብደው ያሉ and yeah.
Is it scary?
I guess a little bit. Again, at the end of the day like finally also you get to understand that you're a healthy person honestly speaking. ይሄ የምታነቢበት stage ላይ ያለ ነገር ነው. But when you end up working with actual patients ምናምን ነገር you get to appreciate your own like
I'm healthy.
healthiness. Yes.
Placebo ይሰራል? placebo pill ወይም fake pill ይሰራል?
Yes.
Really?
I've actually seen that happen when I'm in
okay, we have to explain ምን እንደሆነ እሱ.
So I think I was telling you ቅድም about the painkiller thing እና unavailable የነበረበት ሰዓት ምናምን ነገር. So yeah, it was a very crowded ምናምን emergency room. There's a lot of patients who are just screaming out in pain. So and there's no pain medication መስጠታችን በዛ ሰዓት ማለት ነው. So what I did was normal saline syringe ውስጥ አድርጌ ምናምን ነገር I gave it to a patient who was like screaming በጣም ማለት ነው. And I just couldn't take it anymore ምናምን ነገር. He actually slept ከዛ በኋላ. Yeah.
God bless. God bless. Okay, so placebo የሚለውን perfect way ነው explain ያደረግሽው. Okay. So ብዙ ዶክተሮች ኮምፕሌን የሚያደርጉት my first time seeing a corpse faint አድርጌያለሁ የሚለው ስቶሪ ነው. How was it for you?
Considering she was forced into the
ከዛ በፊት መሰለኝ corpse
ከዛ በፊት ታያለሽ cuz so your clinical years like አራተኛው አመት ላይ ነው የሚጀምረው in medical school, so you get to spend time with patients ምናምን ነገር you're not practicing medicine ግን you take history ምናምን ነገር and ታቀርቢያለሽ እሱን to your teachers ምናምን ነገር and you make contact ከፔሸንት ጋር ምናምን ነገር ታያለሽ ፔሸንትንም ማለት ነው. So the first time I saw a dead body or somebody dying was I think አምስተኛ አመት ላይ ያለው and pediatrics department attached ያደረኩኝ ነበር እና there was this girl I she was like 14 who came in እና CPR እየተሰራላት ምናምን ነገር ነበረ ከዛ we went there like CPR እዩ ምናምን ነገር ተብሎ ሄድን and she died it was a suicide yeah
at 14
yeah I think ስምንተኛ ክፍል ወድቃ ነው or something ምናምን ነገር አሉ and I will never forget her dad and the way he just broke down and cried ምናምን ነገር when they started doing the CPR and covered her up ማለት ነው and that was the first time I saw a dead body and somebody dying
How were you like did you sleep well kaza wala
I did not like it bothered me በደንብ ምናምን ነገር ግን ከዛ በኋላ ደግሞ you still like go back there ምናምን ነገር እና you see other things that will occupy your mind so
do they teach you how to talk to patients and as well as patients relatives when things like this happen እንዴት ማናገር እንዳለባችሁ
no
should they
probably should ግን also the thing is የኢትዮጵያ health care ውስጥ ምናምን ነገር like ያለው communication gap በፔሸንት እና በሐኪም መሃል በጣም ትልቅ ነው it's like almost የሆነ systemic የሆነ issue ነው at this point ምናምን ነገር like a lot of doctors including me ምናምን ነገር ለራሱ because we're so overworked and underpaid ምናምን ነገር you don't really want to spend like a lot of time explaining በእንግሊዘኛ የምታውቂውን ነገር ወደ አማርኛ ተርጉመሽ ምናምን ነገር እኔ በዛ ሰዓት ደግሞ ጭራሽ ወደ ትግርኛ ተርጉሚ ምናምን ማለት ነው like explain አርገሽ መናገር ምናምን ይከብድሻል also like you just don't have the time ምናምን ነገርና ኮሙኒኬት አታደርጊም ከፔሸንቶች ጋር ብዙ ጊዜ ማለት ነው በቃ ሲሞቱም በቃ እንትን ሊል ነው or like የሚሞቱም ከመሰለሽ ምናምን ነገር like cuz we had to do a lot of that ምናምን ነገር because hospital ውስጥ there was a shortage of like supply stuff ምናምን ነገር like I remember I had this patient this one time and he was about like he was in shock ውስጥ ነበር የነበረው እና he needed medication that was like very expensive እና ከውጪ ፋርማሲ ከግል ፋርማሲ የሚገዛ ማለት ነው so we had to like attendantun አውጥተን ምናምን ነገር you can buy this and this ምናምን ነገር which is ይሄን ያህል ዋጋ በዛ ሰዓት ደግሞ ብር የለም ምናምን ነገር this is the ባንክ አይሰራም ስልክ የለም ገንዘብ የለም ካሽ የለም ምናምን ነገር ማለት ነው ይሄን ያህል ገንዘብ ነው but እንደዛ ማርገንለት ICU ያስገብተ ነው ምናምን ነገር he's going to end up dying so እኔ መመክርህ don't spend the money ብሎ ነገረው like as a like matter of factly ነው እንደዛ ነው like ቅጩን ነገረው ልጁ ማለት ነው yes don't spend that money because he's going to die
በትግርኛ ነው ይሄ
yes
okay
so like ስለሚሞት ይሄን ሁሉ ገንዘብ አውጥተህም ከሚሞት እናንተ ሰርቫይቭ ታረጋላችሁ ከዚህ በኋላ መኖራችሁ ካልቀረ ብትኖርበት ይሻላል ምናምን አለው and it was a tough decision that he had to make ምናምን ነገር like it's a really tough position to be in especially like if it's your brother like if it was my sister or any ለምሳሌ I wouldn't want to be put in that position and like be forced to make a decision ማለት ነው
to even see that person in that situation
yes. yeah
okay. How do you handle it እናንተ mentally being in the position to tell people that how do you function ከዛ በኋላ
I think you just run away from your emotions ምናምን ነገር
block ታረጉታላችሁ
yes because you can't do your job like if you of course
I had to ask ምክንያቱም what would I run to no
I used to drink heavily በጣም የዛኔ and I also developed insomnia and I was a person like እንቅልፍ መተኛት ማይከብደኝ አይነት ሰው ነበርኩኝ ግን used alcohol
everything you've seen in that situation alcohol senses no
yeah we used to drink every day
like, were there psychiatrists that were at least talking to people
there were psychiatrists there were 3 of them
for how many people
all of us like mental illness አለብን ሲጀምር በዛ ሰዓት ላይ we're all traumatized ምናምን ነገር ግን በቃ severely ill የሆኑትን ሰዎች ነው የሚያስተናግዱት obviously ማለት ነው እንጂ I will not tell you like ይሄ የነበረው mental state of the patients or the staff ምናምን ነገር addressed አልሆነም እስካሁን ድረስም I don't think የሆነ ምናምን ነገር because obviously we're understaffed ምናምን ነገር and there are more like ኢመርጀንሲ የሆኑ ሲቹዌሽኖች አሉ ከዛ በላይ አድሬስ መደረግ ያለባቸው ምናምን ነገር ማለት ነው ግን ያ I did አሁን ለምሳሌ እኔ ሳይካትሪ 2 ሳምንት አታች አድርጌ ሰርቻለሁ I hated it በጣም ነበር የሚያስጠላ because like most of them are women and kids who are suffering from PTSD coming to you. So it was I think like my last day the last patient that I saw was somebody who stopped speaking. She was unable to speak. She was 14 or 13 years old. She was a kid and she lost her mom, her dad and her brother. She's alone. She came walking Ayder dress and then she couldn't speak. She was like writing down መናገር የምትፈልገውን ነገር. She lost her voice. ምንም አይነት trauma እንደርሶባት አይደለም. She was just so traumatized mentally that she stopped speaking.
Okay. How do you do that? ማለት how do you even start with do you check mentally ነው መጀመሪያ ቼክ የምታደርጉት ወይም physical disorders ነው ቼክ የምታደርጉት መጀመሪያ you rule out the physical እንትኖች ካሉ ማለት ነው. Yes. And then you go to the mental situations. Yes. Okay, I breathe, you ask.
Okay. I'm waiting for soft name.
Would you like some?
Yes. Thank you. Mahalaችን just in case. Yes. So,
how do you handle burnout እንዲህ ከሆነ?
burnout ጋር ከመድረሳችን በፊት ማለት ነው. When you say understaffed, was it always understaffed or is it after that it became severe?
So what happened was so a lot of the stuff like Ayder ውስጥ የነበሩት were people who came from other parts of Ethiopia, the residents, the seniors ምናምን ነገር ማለት ነው, who worked there for years ምናምን ነገር. so ሁሉም ነገር ሲዘጋጋና like ምናምን ነገር ማለት ነው እነሱም they left. so that's like half the stuff basically የወጣው ማለት ነው. and there were በጣም ትንሽ number of doctors እዛ ሰዓት ላይ አይ ከእነሱ ሊቭ ካረጉ በኋላ ማለት ነው. so እዛ ይቀረ ነው ምናምን ነገር በጣም ትንሽ ነበር. እኛ ለራሱ ኢንተርን መሆን ከነበረብን ማለት ነው half of them left እና as interns ለራሱ we were like በጣም ትንሽ ከመሆናችን የተነሳ ዲዩቲ የምናድረው ዲዩቲ like ለሊት ያደረ የምንሰራው በጣም ፍሪኩዌንት ነበረ like at least 3 ከዛ ደግሞ like አሁን ፔዲና ኢንተርናል ሜዲሲን ቅዳሜና እሁድ ማለት ነው 12 ሰዓት shift ነው የሚሰራው ሌሎቹ 24 ናቸው. so እነሱ አይነት ሽፍቶች ካሉ ምናምን ነገር ከ3 እስከ 4 ዲዩቲ ትሰራለሽ ኤክስትራ ታይም ከቀን ከሚሰራው ከ2 ሰዓት እስከ 11 ሰዓት ከሚሰራው ውጪ ማለት ነው የምትሰሪው.
ኢኩዊፕመንቱስ
የነበረውን ነው የምንጠቀመው. there was nothing new አዲስ የሚመጣ ነገር አለ
የምታረጉበት መንገድ አለ.
so sterilize ለማድረግ you need መብራት ኤሌክትሪሲቲ ያስፈልግሻል ምናምን ነገር ማለት ነው. which was የሆነ ሰዓት ላይ አይሰራም ነበር OR ሰርጀሪ ምናምን አይሰራም ነበረ መብራት ስላልነበር ማለት ነው. መብራት ሲጠፋ ስላችሁ ደግሞ 3 ወር ምናምን ነገር ነው የሚጠፋው ማለት ነው. like it's like that. so the generator stopped working because there was no fuel እንትን ለሚለው ማለት ነው. so በጣም ትንንሽ ጀነሬተሮች ብቻ ይመጡና እሱም like ኒኩ ICU these are people like ventilator ላይ ያሉ ምናምን ነገር ሰዎች ማለት ነው ለነሱ ብቻ ይደረግላቸዋል. አንዳንዴ ነው እንጂ የሆነ ሰዓት ላይ people kids ኒኩ ውስጥ ያሉ ህፃናት ምናምን ነገር ICU የነበሩ ሰዎች ምናምን they died.
ኒኩን ICUንም describe ማድረግ አለብሽ.
ኒኩ is neonatal like አዳዲስ ህፃናት ከተወለዱ በኋላ ከታመሙ ወይም ቀድሞ ከተወለዱ like premature ከሆኑ ምናምን ነገር አዲስ የተወለደ ህፃን እንዳለ እዛ ነው ትሪት የሚደረገው. it's neonatal ICU intensive care unit ማለት ነው. that's what ኒኩ is. ICU ደግሞ intensive care unit ነው በጣም severely ill ለሆኑ ሰዎች like የሚታከሙበት ቦታ ማለት ነው.
ሁለቱም oh my god
እዚህ like at a point where resources ሲጠፉ እነዚህ ሰዎች
yes a lot of people that could have been saved died because of the lack of medication. people used to die from diarrhea because fluid አለበት. fluid is like ይሄ ኖርማል ሳላይን ግሉኮስ ምናምን የሚሉት ነገር አለ አይደል እንደዚህ የምትንጠለጠለው ውሃ that is በጣም ቤዚክ የሚባለው ሜዲካል እንትን ነው. it's just ጫው ያለው ውሃ basically ማለት ነው. ግን that can you can put it inside your veins directly ማለት ነው. so እሱ እንኳን አልነበረንም እና so people who are bleeding out ምናምን ነገር fluid ስላልነበር and because I didn't want them to go into shock ምናምን ነገር if I saw them profusely bleeding ብለድ ተደባድቤ አምጥቼ ነበር ትሪት ማረቀው እንዲሁና supposed to do that መጀመሪያ ፍሉድ ነው መስጠት ያለብሽ ብለድ አይደለም ይሰጣው ግን that's what we used to do like at least ብለድ አለ ብለን ብለድ ነበር የምንሰጠው instead of like the normal saline ምናምን ነገር ማለት ነው and on top of that ደግሞ there was የስኳር በሽተኞች ነበሩ who didn't have insulin ምናምን ነገር ማለት ነው so እነዚህ ሰዎች ምናምን ነገር as a complication of that DKA የሚባል ነገር ዴቨሎፕ ያደርጋሉ like ኢንሱሊን ከሌላቸው ስኳሩ ደማቸው ውስጥ ምናምን ነገር ቢልድ አፕ ያደርግና DKA የሚባል ኮምፕሊኬሽን ዴቨሎፕ ያደርጋሉ እሱን ትሪት የምታደርጊው ኤንኤስ በመስጠት ነው ወይም ኖርማል ሳላይን ያልኩሽን ፉድ በመስጠት ነው ትሪት የሚደረገው ማለት ነው and because we didn't have that you know what we used to do we used to tell them to drink water.
Does it work?
It doesn't work. But like the concept, yes, conceptually, ግን how much water can you possibly drink? ማለት 4-5-6 ባግ ነው የምትሰጫቸው like every hour basically ማለት ነው እሱም directly ወደ ቬናቸው ነው የሚገባው ገብቶሻል አይደል ግን ኮንሱም የምታደርጊው ውሃ ገና through your digestive system ሄዶ ምናምን ነገር like ሆዳቸው ይወጠራል ለራሱ ማለት ነው it's unfair.
It's just the only thing you could have done.
በቃ እሱን ነው ማድረግ የምትችይው በዛ ሰዓት ላይ እንጂ ምንም የሚደረግ ነገር የለም.
How was the hospital handling dead bodies?
I don't know. When a patient dies, ይገነዛል. They take him to the እንትን ማለት ነው department and then በቃታተኛ the certificate ነው የምንጽፈው ከዛ ኋላ I don't know where they end up going.
Burnout?
I had a question I literally blanked ምክንያቱም I was thinking
yeah how were you guys handling burnout?
We weren't handling it I guess. I'm still burnt out እስካሁን ድረስ እኔ like I'm still very tired and exhausted ምናምን ነገር from all that.
So, mentally, physically?
Yes, no? Mentally, physically. Like, it was a lot of work, by the way. Like, it's actual labor that you are doing. Like, I used to, like, patient push እያረኩኝ እየገፋው ለራሱ መወስደው እኔ ነኝ ኦክሲጅን እየገፋሽ ምናምን ነገር ይዘሽ የምትመጪው ራስሽ ነሽ ሊፍት አይሰራም ምናምን ነገር ሶ መሯሯጥ ነው ከስልክም ስለማይሰራ you need consultation ምናምን ነገር you have to run around ግቢውን እንዳለ እንደ ሆስፒታሉ እንዳለ to find that one single person ማለት ነው yes
runners
ፖርተሮች አሉ የሚያግዙ ሰዎችም አሉ ግን like I told you it's very crowded ምናምን ነገር so
because they were working over capacity ሌሎች ሆስፒታሎች አካባቢው አሉ
no የሉም Ayder is a referral hospital so ድሮ በደናው ጊዜ ምናምን ነገር ከትግራይም ከአፋርም certain parts of Afar and certain parts of like አማራ ክልል እየመጡ የሚታከሩ ይፈር እየተባሉ እዛ ነው የሚታከሙት ነው ነገር ማለት ነው it's very ትልቅ ሆስፒታል ነው ምናምን ነገር but yeah pretty much it was the only standing like hospital at that point cuz ሌሎቹ they were completely destroyed ምናምን ነገር and not working ማለት ነው so yeah a lot of the patients እዛ ነው የሚመጡት mostly
ሰው ቅድም እንደነበር ያሰብኩት መሰለሽ when like ቅድም እንዳልሻት አይነት ልጅ ምናምን ይመጣል where የሚያስታመማቸው ሰው የሌሉ ሰዎች what happens then like
አንቺ አስታማሚ ትሆኛለሽ basically
okay so emotional burdenም እንጨምራለን
yes like it's what እንዲያውም እሱኛው su part was more exhausting I'm glad you brought that up ነገር was something that I forgot about but yeah there were a lot of patients ስማቸውን ለማናቃቸው ምናምን ነገር እና ካርዳቸው ላይ XX ምናምን XXY ምናምን ነገር ተብሎ ነው የሚጻፈው ማለት ነው so they didn't have families ምናምን ነገር so እንደዚህ አይነት patient ሲመጣብሽ it's extra work that you have to do አሁን ለምሳሌ like if I'm drawing blood ምናምን ነገር like ለመላክ ኢንቨስቲጌሽን ለማሰራት ምናምን ነገር ከወሰድኩኝ በኋላ ብለዱን like ቤተሰቦቻቸውን ነው የምልከው ገብቶሻል but እንደዚህ አይነት patient ሲሆን ማንንም መላካችም you do that ራስሽ መድኃኒት ራስሽ እንደምታመጪው ተደባድበሽ ምናምን ነገር በቃ you care for that patient as if you're also their attendant ማለት ነው attend እንደምታረጋቸው ሰው
ማለት አሁን እዚህ ጋር throughout everything that's happening considering you're understaffed እና equipmentም low ይሄደ ነው የናንተ ሴፍቲ እንዴት ነው በዛ ሲቹዌሽን ላይ how are you able to manage የራሳችሁን ማለት ሜንታሉ እንዳለ ሆኖ physically ራሱ when you're treating so many people and exhaustion accidents happen how are you able to stay safe?
We weren't looking after our own safety
ጨራሽ
ያ it's ጦርነት ነው በዛ ሰዓት ምናምን ነገርና it's a lot of like በጣም አስጠሊታ የሚባሉ kind of traumas that are happening. It's people who are burnt and like traumatically amputated ምናምን ነገር. It's a lot of like disturbing wounds ምናምን that are coming to you ምናምን ነገርና በዛ ሰዓት ማንም ስለራሱ አያስብም. You just are trying to prevent the death of a person ምናምን ነገር as much as possible ማለት ነው እንጂ ባዶ እጃችንን ነው የምንሰራው። ጓንት አልነበረም. something basic like a ጓንት ምናምን ነገር አልነበረም. and የሰው ደም ምናምን ነገር ይነካሻል ምናምን ነገር but you still keep on working ማለት ነው. like a story I can tell you ምናምን ነገር that happened to me is I was gynecology and obstetrics and gynecology like attached ያረኩኝ እዛ department. There was this mother, she was 6 ወር pregnant ነበረች. ከዛ ግን she had this thing called preeclampsia, which is it's like the pregnancy ለእናትየው ላይ ደም ግፊት ምናምን ነገር ይፈጥራል ማለት ነው. and eventually በጣም severe ሲሆን ምናምን ነገር ኦርጋኖቿ ፌል ያደርጋሉ ምናምን ነገር and she ends up dying ማለት ነው. so the management ለእንደዚህ አይነት ኬዝ severe ለሆነ ኬዝ እና and there is evidence of like organ damage እና failure ማለት ነው termination ነው የሚደረገው, pregnancy termination. so I was the only one duty ላይ ስለነበርኩኝ was እሁድ ቀን ነበረ 24 ሰዓት ሙሉ እኔ ነኝ እዛ ዋርድ ሙሉና እኔ ብቻዬን ነበርኩኝ. ሚድዋይፍም አልነበረ ማንንም አልነበረም ብቻዬን ነኝ ምናምን ነገር ቀኑን በሙሉ ፎሎ ሳረጋት ዋልኩኝ because this is በጣም ዴንጀር ላይ ያለች እናት ነች ምናምን ነገር. so termination ተጀምሯል. anyways like የ6 ወር pregnancy termination ደግሞ is basically like giving birth but the child is not going to survive now. anyways so I did that on my own ምናምን ነገር ብቻዬን and she bled a lot and I was soaked in blood like ከአንገቴ ጀምሮ ሙሉ እጄ እግሬ ጫማ ድረስ ምናምን ነገር I was soaked in blood. the whole situation ለራሱ የ6 ወር pregnancy terminate ማድረግ ለራሱ in and of itself it's very traumatizing for the person doing it and for the person like going through it ለራሱ ማለት ነው. and on top of that she bled ምናምን ነገር እና I was soaked. ግን በዛ ሰዓት የራሴ እንትን አይደለም ያሳሰበኝ. I just was scared that she is going to bleed out and die ምናምን ነገር ማለት ነው. so እሱን ተረባረብኩኝ ምናምን ነገር. I literally stayed in that like ደም በደም በተጨማለቀ ልብስ 2 ሰዓት ሙሉ ማለት ነው. like ልቀየር ብዬ አልሄድኩም ምንም አላልኩም because ምንም አይነት protective gear ስለሌለን ምናምን ነገር ደግሞ ምንም ታረጊው ነገር የለሽም ማለት ነው. so እሷን ስቴብል ከሆነች በኋላ ምናምን ነገር ሄጄ ራቴን በላው ምናምን ነገር ልብሴን ቀይሬ መጣው ምናምን ነገርና ከዛ ትዝ አለኝ that maybe HIV positive ብትሆንስ ልጅ ብዬ ማለት ነው. so እንደዚህ አይነት when you come in contact with blood ምናምን with a patient's blood ደግሞ እንትን ነው የምታረጊው የነሱን ቴስት ታረጊያቸዋለሽ ማለት ነው. so testing kit ፍለጋ ዞርኩኝ የለም. I couldn't find one ምናምን ነገር ማለት ነው. and at that point I was very scared for myself ምናምን ነገር because it was a lot of blood. and eventually laboratory ሄጄ ከሆነ ሰው ለምኜ ምናምን ነገር I think 6-7 ወር expire ያደረገ testing kit ሰጡኝ ምናምን ነገርና በቃ በሱ ሰራውላት like ለመስራት ያክል ነው እንጂ the results are not going to be believable አይደሉም ብቻ.
and you were able to function mentally ይሄንን ሁላ ካሳለፍሽ በኋላ?
yes that patient was like በቃ ካሁን በኋላ patient መንካት አልፈልግም ያስባለኝ ኢንሲደንት ነበር. was just too much እና የመጨረሻ ሰዓትም አካባቢ ነበር. so
did she survive?
oh yes she did survive. she was fine.
congrats.
thank you.
at least did you see any type of humanity and kindness throughout all of this?
yes of course. in that kind of situation like by the way you see a lot of people being kind to each other ምናምን ነገር and መጀመሪያ አካባቢ ላይ በተለይ like እንትኑ እንደጀመረ ምናምን ነገር a lot of people used to bring food and like the mothers especially ማለት ነው መተው ምናምን ነገር ምግብ ያመጣሉ. and there were even people like literally ህፃን ልጆቻቸውን ቤት ተው ምናምን ነገር ፔሸንቶቹን አቴንዳንት የሌሎችውን ፔሸንቶች ምናምን ነገር they used to care for them like ያጥቧቸው ነበር ልብስ ያመጡላቸው ነበር ያለብሷቸው ነበር ያንቀሳቅሷቸው ነበር they used to do a lot of those things that እኛ ማድረግ ማንችለውን ማለት ነው
ማስታመም
yes ያስታምሙ ነበርና by the way አቴንዳንት ሲኖርሽና ሳይኖርሽ በሽተኛ መሆን በጣም ትልቅ ዲፈረንስ አለው on the outcome of የራስሽ ጤንነት ለራሱ ማለት ነው because a lot of people also died from starvation especially those people who had like brain injury ምናምን ነገር yeah because nobody was there to feed them they died from starvation
ማውራት የማይችል ፔሸንት በተለይ ከሆነ
ያ ማውራት የማይችሉት like እነሱ ፔሸንቶች ማለት ነው the ones that are
okay
what was the state of the hospital like at any given minute ማለት like if you could describe it እዚህ ቁጭ ብለሽ describe the whole image
it was very chaotic በጣም ብዙ ሰው ነው ያለው and በጣም like ትገፋፊያለሽ ምናምን ነገር and it smelled like death and the dying like all the time ማለት ነው and it was a very dark place
ቅርታ it's an interview ግን our emotions is getting the best of us በሆነ ሰዓት ለዚህ ነው እሺ I'm gonna let you take the lead for a minute
I like a lot of the things she's saying are things I can see and understand not it makes sense for me ለምሳሌ ስለማስታመም where when you're told something tough but I have to እንዲ ማድረግ አለብሽ the how do I put this ይሄ እንዴት ነው ማትጋፈጪው ነገር አለ አይደል okay እሺ it's not okay so what was the tough part about returning
so like ወደ normal life መመለስ when you're like survivor mode ላይ ሆነሽ ስትኖሪ ከርመሽ ምናምን ነገር ወደ normal life መመለስ ከባድ ነው also like ስልክ ምናምን ነገር ኢንተርኔት ስልክ መደወል ነው ሳትጠቀሚ ከርመሽ ምናምን ስትመለሽ ለራሱ it's very weird መጀመሪያ ላይ ማለት ነው and ድሮ I used to be like somebody who used to text a lot ምናምን ነገር አሁን I can't it's weird for me like I don't know why and ስልክ ማውራት አልችልም መጀመሪያ ስመጣ ካርዱላ እንዴት ነው የሚሞላ ጠፍቶብኝ ነበር and yeah normal life ስትኖሪ ምናምን ነገር and you're actually safe cuz you're not scared የሆነ like plane የሚያልፍ ነገር ሰማይ ላይ የሚበር ነገር ስታይ ምናምን ነገር that doesn't mean it's going to drop a bomb on you ምናምን የሚለው ነገር ለራሱ that safety nice but also adjust ማድረግ ይከብዳል
ከዛ ወደዚህ ስትመጪ
yes ከዛ ደግሞ የዛኔ ያው because you were just survivor mode ላይ ስለነበርሽ ምናምን ነገር like a lot of emotions feel ለማድረግ ትሞክራለሽ ምናምን ነገር especially like የኛ ስራ ውስጥ ነው ምን ማለት ነው because if you let it like you know consume you ምናምን ነገር it will be difficult to do your job and your duty ማለት ነው and your duty is to save people's lives ምናምን ነገር በዛ ሰዓት ስለዚህ እዛ መቅረትሽ ካልቀረ then why are you being an emotional right so አሁን ላይ ግን ምናምን ነገር it's ነሱ ኢሜጆች ምናምን ነገር በቃ የዛኔ የኖርሹ እና ያሳለፍሹ ኤክስፒሪየንሶች ምናምን ነገር they keep resurfacing ምናምን ማለት ነው and it's not a very nice experience so
ባለፈው ከሴታ ሴት ግሩፖች ጋር we were having this conversation about war it's horrible and terrible but it's worse for children and women የሚሉን idea and
that is true
I feel like as a doctor you have first view on it
yeah so I guess ያው even that ትንሽዬ like ይሄ የህግ ስትራክቸርም ይሁን like you know ምንኖርበት ስትራክቸር ምናምን ነገር ክራክ ሲያደርግና ሲፈርስ that's like a fertile ground for violence to happen especially towards women and kids ምናምን ነገር ማለት ነው most especially ደግሞ like young girls በጣም ነው የሚጎዱት እነሱ cuz they're like easy targets ብቻ ሳይሆን በቃ somehow more attractive targets ይሆናሉ for like the violence ምናምን ነገር እዛ ጋር የሚመጣው ማለት ነው እና yes a lot of women and kids they were በጣም affected ሲጀመር የትግራይ ህፃናት 3 አመት ሙሉ አልተማሩ ትምህርት ማለት ነው ዳር አሎን ለራሱ በጣም ከባድ ነው ስትኖሪው የነበረው ላይፍ suddenly change አድርጎ ምናምን ነገር በድህነት እየኖርሽ የሚበላተሽ ምናምን ነገር አባትሽ የለም የወንድ ቤተሰቦቹ የሉም because ወጥተዋል እናትየው ደግሞ ምንም ሰርታ የምታመጣው ነገር የለም because there's nothing የሚሰራም ነገር የለም እዛ ጋር ማለት ነው so in extreme poverty መኖር ለራሱ that experience alone is terrifying and on top of that we're all aware that there was a lot of rape and the weaponization of rape ምናምን ነገር and እሱ ለራሱ I think ሁሉም ኮንፍሊክት ላይ ስታዩ ምናምን ነገር they keep using rape to punish women ምናምን ነገር እንደዚህ አይነት ሲቹዌሽን ላይ ማለት ነው እና like ወንዶችን በተለየ መንገድ አፌክት የሚያደርግበት እዚህ ጋር ነው በቃ ሴቶችና ህፃናት የሚጎዱት እዚህ ጋር ነው because they're thought to be like the weak part of society ምናምን ነገር somehow the most brutal የሚባለው አክትና አክሽን ደግሞ እነሱ ላይ ነው የሚፈጸመው ማለት ነው it's because they're vulnerable ምናምን ነገር I understand that ግን still yes ከሴቶች በላይ ማንም አይጎዳም እንደዚህ አይነት ሲቹዌሽን ላይ
now that you're here and you've decided to not touch any patient
I am touching patients now I got back into that
how
I don't know yeah I don't want to lose all that
investment in knowledge
yeah so you need to practice ደግሞ medicine እና አለዛ ይጠፋብሻል
okay do you still want to do it or do you want to change careers
I want to change careers bizarre health care ውስጥ ሆኖ ግን more on the like administration and non-clinical side ድገባ ነው ደስ የሚለኛው so I don't have to touch patients
what are you doing now currently
nothing
I know you're doing something tell me
I am volunteering at this ጤና ጣቢያ and that's about it
do you think your skills are utilized well is that
yes
they are
yes you wouldn't know this ምናምን ነገር but የአዲስ አበባ ጤና ጣቢያዎች are also very understaffed
of course
and they're not hiring any doctors
is there anything you would advise አሁን ለምሳሌ God forbid a war does not end here is there anything you would advise for doctors and hospitals ይሄንን ነገር አሟሉ ይሄን ነገር as a backup አስቀምጡ ይሄን ነገር እናስተካክል before we get to that point
like አሁን እኔ እዛ ሰራ ምናምን ነገር አንድ አንደርስታንድ ያደረኩት ነገር is that like administrative like failure ወይም ይሄ የነሱ inefficiency ምናምን ነገር does cost a lot of lives ማለት ነው አንቺ እዚህ ጋር ስራሽን እየሰራሽ መሬት ላይ እየሰራሽ እያለ ምናምን ነገር በቢሮክራሲና በመናምን ብዙ ማግኘት የምትቻቸው ማቴሪያሎችና even ለማግኘት ለራሱ it shouldn't be that difficult for you ገብቶሻል አይደለ at the end of the day patient ነው ያከምሽበት ያለሽ እዚህ ጋር ለማንም አይደለም ያ ማቴሪያል የተቀመጠው so እነዚህ ነገሮች በደንብ ማስተካከል የማይችሉ ሰዎች ምናምን ነገር አሉ ሁሉም ሆስፒታል ላይ አሉ ምናምን ነገር ማለት ነው so administrative failure does cost a lot of lives ምናምን ነገር and እኔም አንድም አሁን ከዚህ በኋላ መማር የምፈልገው ነገር እና ስፔሻላይዝ አድርጌ መስራት የምፈልገው ነገር is like እንደዚህ አይነት atrocity ምናምን ነገር ሲፈጠር እንዴት ነው ሆስፒታሎች ሰርቫይቭ ማድረግ የሚችሉት የሚለውን ነገር እና እንዴት ኤፊሽንት መሆን ይችላል አድሚኒስትሬቲቭ ስታፉ ምናምን በተለይ ማለት ነው ኦር ምን አይነት እንትን ብንጠቀም ነው እንደዚህ አይነት ሲቹዌሽን ሰርቫይቭ ማድረግ የሚችለው አንድ ሆስፒታል የሚለውን I really would like to learn that ምናምን ነገር as of now ግን I don't know there is nothing I can possibly say other than like these people can only survive ጦርነቱ ቢቆም
hopefully we'll have you again ድጋሚ like we'll do the research and we have to have answers for this
okay I had one last question so assimilating to society ላይ ማለት ነው now that you work ምናምን which part is like, I'm guessing you do have some sort of PTSD, adel?
Yes.
So what, like, of course የሚያስፈሩ trigger የሚያደርጉ a lot of things አሉ during the day, ግን like what is shockingly peaceful about the city አሁን?
I wouldn't know. I guess I'm not at peace.
I know, I observe ታረጊውና you feel like an outsider, ግን I can't believe this is a thing እዚህ ሀገር ውስጥ የምትይው.
I don't have an answer for you. It's not something I have thought about, honestly speaking. So
okay. Personally, you would think after a very traumatic event, you would feel like far removed from what other people do.
It was መጀመሪያ ላይ it was በጣም እንደዛ ነበረ, like that feeling ማለት ነው. Like you see a lot of people ምናምን ነገር እና በቃ ኖርማል ነገር ነው የሚያደርጉት. They're going out and enjoying their lives and hanging out with people ምናምን ነገር እና immediately እንደመጣው ይሄንን ነገር ሳይ በጣም ነበር በሳጫው ምን አገና ላይ ትዩ ምናምን ነገር, like because በዛ ሰዓት we all felt angry, forgotten and alone. And I come here and see them and they're living their normal lives. That makes me even more angrier because እዛ ጋር ሰው እየሞተ ምናምን ነገር, you're out here just existing and living your life and you're just okay and that's normal. And it was really tough እሱን ለራሱ accept አድርጎ እንትን ማለት ነው.
That makes sense. That's all I have for today. Okay, Kwande. I have one more question. So during that time a lot of women and children ይመጣሉ ሐኪም ቤቱ አይደል? So because it was at that time there was a lot of R-word happening. How many patients actually, like, you know, ራሳቸው መምጣት የሚችሉ ፔሸንቶች ምን ያህል ነው የሚሆኑት, considering like it was a very common activity?
Very few. So it's not a lot of women that get to come to Ayder ምናምን ነገር ማለት ነው. And I don't know if you guys know this ምናምን ነገር, ግን ይሄ ብዙ እንደዚህ ስቶሪያቸው ምናምን ነገር ለራሱ መውጣት የጀመረው was after the complete happened ወይም ደግሞ ምናምን ነገር ከወጡ በኋላ ማለት ነው. So እነሱ በነበሩበት ሰዓት ግን it was very hard for women to come and access እንደዚህ አይነት healthcare ማለት ነው. So what happened was a lot of these women ended up having the babies of
their assailants.
Yes. And it was I did witness that ምናምን ነገር ነው አይደር የወለዱ አሉ. was በጣም ነው የሚያስጠላው ከነዚህ አይነት ነገር ጋር ዲል ማድረግ ለራሱ. And most of these women don't want to have they don't want anything to do with the child. Yes, አትፈርጅባቸው, but also ልጁም ያሳዝናል. And it's just a tragic situation እዚህ ጋር. I understand now wanting a reminder of one of the most horrific things that you went through your life and experienced ምናምን ነገር, but also that is just an innocent child who didn't do anything ምናምን ነገር.
ጥላው ለመሄድ ይሞክራሉ ሐኪም ቤት ውስጥ
ኑ እንዳታመጡብኝ ጭራሽ አላጠባም ማየት አልፈልግም መንካት አልፈልግም የሚሉ ፔሸንቶች አሉ.
How does the doctor mitigate that?
There are social workers ምናምን ነገር, and we had a rape center.
Oh, so okay.
ሴት actually ሁለት የተለያዩ ኢንስቲትዩሽንስ ናቸው. ሴት explain to us that በተለይ the act of rape a lot of STDs አብሮት የሚመጡ ነገሮች ናቸው.
That is very true. I remember hearing a story where some women used to say that they have HIV ምናምን ነገር, so they wouldn't get raped. And I heard stories that they brought the HIV infected to rape them.
Oh, ማቻችሁ አይነት ነገር ተብሎ?
Yeah. Because it was like we all know that rape isn't about sex ምናምን ነገር እዚህ ጋር.
It's about power.
It's about power and humiliation.
እና እነሱም መተው ለመታከም ቦታ አላቸው በዛ ሰዓት?
Of course not. No. ሲጀመር የኤችአይቪ ሜዲኬሽን ስቲል እስካሁን ድረስ ኢትስ ኢን ሾርቴጅ ነው እና ፒፕል እየወሰዱት የነበሩት ምናምን ነገር ለራሱ በጣም ተጎድተዋል በዛ ምክንያት the extent to which like the entire healthcare system ነው ኮላፕስ ያደረግ የነበረው ማለት ነው so that means chronically ill የነበሩ ሰዎች a lot of them died a lot of people with kidney disease a lot of people with like ስኳር በሽታ ደም ግፊት ምናምን የመሳሰሉት በሽታዎች people who were leading normal lives with medication ምናምን ነገር they ended up dying
so one of my health worker friends explained to me that if you come like within the first 72 hours of rape and you know that person is HIV positive there is a prevention method and I found out most people don't know that so I think you should speak about it
there is PEP የሚባል medication አለ የHIV medication ነው and if you it's given to patients like rape victims ምናምን ነገር they come immediately to the hospital it's given to them regardless whether they know their assailant was HIV positive or not ማለት ነው ቢገኝና ቢታወቅ ጥሩ ነው so they wouldn't have to take the medication ማለት ነው ግን yes it's part of the protocol
that could prevent you being HIV
we
positive
also take it እኛም like አሁን ለምሳሌ if you come into contact with like HIV positive የሆነ known patient ከነሱ blood ጋር ወይም any bodily fluid ጋር ምናምን ነገር you come into contact like ከዛ አንዳንዴ አፍ ውስጥ አይን ውስጥ ምናምን ነገር ይገባል ነገርና yes እኛም እንወስደዋለን
prevention method
yeah like blood has never bothered me that much it's the wounds that I saw that bother me a lot
after images
yes ማለት ያው እኛ ጋር ሲመጡም and surgery ከተሰራላቸው በኋላ ያሉት እንትኖች because there was you know widespread የሆነ malnutrition ሁላችንም including me by the way I was so malnourished እኔ ለራሱ ጸጉሬና ፊቴ ላይ ለተበላሽቶ ነበር I was extremely skinny ማለት ነው and so because of that ምናምን ነገር sustain ያደረጓቸው ውንዶች ምናምን ቶሎ ሂል አያደርጉም or ጭራሽ ሂል አያደርጉም ማለት ነው so even the surgical wound ስለራሱ ሂል ስለማያደርጉ ምናምን ነገር if it's like ሆድ አካባቢ ከሆነ they end up forming like in the tubo ነገር like a fistula ማለት ነው so whatever they're eating comes out
okay
through those wounds
okay
I have a question for her.
How
do you cope with all these things? Like basic like you have witnessed a lot of people die with the basic lacks and የምታያቸው ነገሮች I could have said them ይሄ ነገር ነው የምታያቸው ነገሮች አሉ how do you cope?
I am not coping very well you have a lot of guilt ምናምን ነገር that's what you get መጨረሻ ላይ at the end of the day ምናምን ነገር እንደዚህ አይነት ስራ ውስጥ ስትሰራ you carry a lot of guilt ይሄን ባረግ ኖሮ እኮ ምናምን ነገር and a lot of patients that you saw die ምናምን ነገር they keep haunting you and I'm not doing very well ምናምን ነገር with it honestly speaking I still have nightmares ምናምን ነገር I can't sleep with the lights turned off ለምሳሌ and I have a hard time falling asleep and I self medicate ምናምን ነገር ለመተኛት ማለት ነው and I'm not dealing with it very well
thank you
for coming and sharing your story
and helping everybody you have helped
thanks
I hope
thank you for inviting me
thank you for feeling comfortable enough to share your story thank you Taraki for their space and their platform thank you to our production manager and see you next time
Bye.